Isolated in the Pacific are a beachgoer's paradise. There is no continental shelf to slow the force of incoming waves, and steady trade winds blow across the islands. These factors give the islands their distinctive surf. But when the surf gets rough, up to 30 feet high, it is responsible for an average of 800 hospitalizations a year. These waves are so massive, spectators on shore are also at risk. Dozens of tourists are swept off rocks and cliffs every year. One place that attracts cliff-going tourists is Moi Hole, on the north shore of the island of Oahu. Local video producer Jerry Kamen says it's one of the island's most famous photo spots.
I made this video, right?
Moi Hole's the most beautiful.
I just want to explain to you how
Especially lying down the cliff, over the water, going to the underwater cave, especially during low tide. It's beautiful.
But at high tide, Moi Hole has been deadly in the past.
Back in 1967, there was an unfortunate victim that was in the cave and he got trapped in there for 17 hours. You could hear him screaming. He didn't come out alive.
San Francisco tourist Hugh Alexander and his girlfriend had heard about the spectacular view from the cliff above Moi Hole. Tempting fate, they pose for a snapshot. As one of their friends takes the pictures, they move closer to the edge to get a dramatic shot with the ocean spray behind them. Suddenly, Hugh is knocked to the ground by a 12-foot wave. Seconds later, another wave hits, carrying him toward the edge, and then over.
One winter swell came in, and it was so large that it sucked him right down into the ocean.
Kamen sees the commotion and turns on his video camera. He and the others lose sight of Hugh as he is swept by a wave into the now treacherous cave beneath the rocks.
Looking down into the cove, we had 10, 15 feet of white water. We were looking for a body. There's no way we believe that he could have survived that fall.
Suddenly, Hugh appears for a moment in the churning surf, but another wave smashes him back into the cave. His brief appearance gives rescuers their first hope that he might survive.
We were all screaming. I mean, he actually had survived. Up until then, we wrote him off.
It's 25 minutes before lifeguards Brian Keaulana and Earl Bungo arrive. They were the closest lifeguards in the area, members of an 87-person team responsible for patrolling 24 miles of Oahu coastline. The Hawaii Lifeguard Association was the first in the world to use the wave runners, jet skis that can maneuver at speeds of up to 40 miles per hour in the surf. The lifeguards yell into the cave, but they can't hear any response over the thundering waves. Brian then swims into the cave, but is pummeled by the raging water.
If the explosion happens, your whole body just explodes and the pressure of your ears get pushed in. My hands are getting ripped off to the bottom, thinking, okay, I'm gonna get shoved in the back of this cave like a rag.
Unable to see Hugh in the giant dark cave and in danger of drowning himself, Brian swims out with the next wave.
Oh my God.
He and the other lifeguard continue calling to Hugh, encouraging him to try to swim out. Eventually, Hugh does, but as soon as he surfaces on the outside, the water sucks him back under and into the cave.
And even with the jet ski, I couldn't get to him fast enough. He was getting just slammed on the top of the cave.
Just make my own email.
Just seeing him dying from the
I
eyes.
want to make a news email.
Inside the cave, Hugh has been fighting a desperate battle. Every time the tide fills up the cave, he holds his breath and wedges himself between a rock and the cave wall. But as time goes on, Hugh begins to wonder how he will ever get out.
I realized it's not a dream. There's nothing I can do to stop it. I don't figure a way to get out of this house.
As the tide keeps rising, the cave stays full of water longer. After an hour and a half, Hugh realizes he has no choice but to make one last attempt to swim free.
A big wave came, pulled me off and I let go. And I came up to the surface as fast as I could, and those guys were right there. Right when I came to the surface, I could see them.
When he finally grabbed you, the feeling we had was just one of intense pressure. It was an exciting moment for all of us.
But seconds later, a wave catches them. Earl loses his grip, and they fall back into the turbulent water.
Okay, just write down
Fortunately,
everything.
Earl is tethered to
I
the
did
wave
it
runner.
was 2009. So, 15.
Brian pulls them aboard to safety.
I just wanna.
I was yelling, he was yelling, we got you, baby, we got you. The ride in was a pretty good time.
Do you need your number?
Medics
You need to
work
know your
intensely
phone number.
over Hugh. The lifeguards say that by holding on and not panicking, he was able to overcome and better deal with the situation. His ordeal lasted 2.5 hours. Hugh was taken to a local hospital where he is treated for scrapes and bruises. Severely shaken by the experience, it is a year before Hugh goes back into the water. But today, he is a corporate lawyer in San Francisco.
I think really having a good life is going to be the best reward for all of us.
Ryan now owns a water safety business called Hawaiian Water Patrol. He works with movie and television crews to make sure they're safe when they film at sea.
Duh, you're the one.
People fly here, we see the blue waters, the blue skies, the white sand. The reality of it is that within all this beauty, there's a beast that exists.
Today, Moi Hole is still fully accessible to the public, even though warning signs are posted. Visitors should remember there is no way to predict how big a wave will be, or how many waves will come in a set. And that is what makes Ocean Cliffs dangerous.
Write everything down that you.
Over 6
do
million
not
tourists
mess it up.
visit
I'm
Hawaii
telling you
every
to
year.
do it.
It's not possible for the lifeguards to keep an eye on all of them. But it is vital that anyone visiting this island paradise know that an unpredictable wave can turn a moment of beauty into a life or death situation without warning.